Hello everyone, and thank you for buying and watching the Evans Gambit DVD. I've actually decided for myself, to record the intro, or the introduction, not at the very first minute of this DVD, but actually only after I've recorded pretty much anything else. So I have a picture of exactly what we have, not what we are going to have, but what is already done, what already recorded, and exactly what you are about to see about the Evans Gambit. So we can discuss a little bit, start by tiny bit the history of this line, and then very clearly the chapters, the ideas, the different systems that you will see in this DVD. Well, first of all, I can tell you, when I first heard about the Evans Gambit, well, the first connotation in our head is, oh, Larry Evans, right? The great American Grandmaster. It's something that has to be related to him. Well, not really. It is much, much older than that. It is actually named after William Davis Evans, which was a British Navy man, an inventor. I went and read on him for the first time for the Evans Gambit long ago. He was born in 1790. And the Evans Gambit actually became popular, or first was introduced, let's forget about popular, somewhere around 1825, 6, 7, it depends on which sources, in a game played between William Davis Evans against Alexander MacDonald, and it was played around, on one of London shows around this period. Actually, according to what was written, it went this way. First castle was played, and after d6 b4, but we are very much in the same territory. This opening is not really played. Let's go to our classical way, right? The one that is more used to. This opening is not we are not going to see it in every Linares or candidates, and actually very rarely we see it with players above 2700. Kasparov used it several times. We are going to show his games, a great victory against Piquet and a great victory against Anand. We have to show those. Nigel Short, which Kasparov had another game against him, I believe it was a draw. Nigel Short has been playing this with the white pieces a bit. Several other players have been playing it. Morozevich is a well-known player to have played it. Grandmaster Johnny Hector, Grandmaster Petrosian, or there are several others. Decent Grandmaster Nakamura won the first game in the US Championship last year, the one that he ended up winning in an impressive win against Robert Hess. But all in all, how many games of top 10 in the world we have in this line? Very few. But it doesn't mean that decent Grandmasters and International Masters are not playing it, and they are. And the lower that we go, let's go to a club player. Oh, this opening is really popular, like at the 18, 19, 2000. Why? Because it is a very dynamic system to get away from the boring, if I can use that way, or the well-known, heavy, analyzed Spanish systems. The Rey Lopez, the Berlin defense, you name it, the Breyer, the Marshall Gambit. It's supposed to be so interesting, so creative, right? It's a gambit, right? The Marshall Gambit. But what happened, and we will see it a bit in our series, a gambit is so fascinating at the beginning, but people analyze it, analyze more, and then you go so much deep in theory that the entire excitement is kind of already gone. Everyone knows how well to prepare, and we are getting well-established positions. Some of the Marshall ones go many moves into theory. The logic, when looking at this before, and my logic in making this DVD, is to divide it into the chapters that are as follows. First of all, I don't want to accept the gambit. I'm playing bishop to b6. This is where you will find the game, Kasparov Piquet, and it is a very important logic. You give away pawn, you sacrifice. Your opponent can say immediately, I want to take, I don't want to take, I want to think. I remember when I was young, I heard about someone was saying 3 players, like world champions, that When they sacrifice, each one is a different character. For example, if Tal sacrifice, always take. Because Tal sacrifice, it's right, wrong, take it. Let's say a player like I thought, Petrosian, such a solid player. If he sacrifice, usually don't take because it's really, it doesn't give it just, oh, it looks interesting. And some players that, well, yes or no. This is really the logic. So the first thing, let's consider what if not. This is the bishop b6 version. Then we are going to capture. Okay. And once we are capturing, c3, this is the idea of white. White wants to get this extra tempi attacking the bishop. Building the center, d4 is coming, and queen b3 is always an important idea, putting more pressure against the f7 pawn. Pretty much every retreat by black is possible. The main ones are bishop a5, logical. The idea is that after d4 we can still take and we keep some pressure on this pin. Bishop e7, played by Anand. d4, and now the main move as we will see through the series is knight a5, removing white's bishop immediately from this diagonal. Bishop e2 was played by Kasparov against Anand. Bishop d6, always an interesting one, and maybe the one that is most unbalanced, most complicated. Well, the idea is defending immediately the e5 pawn, so that black can play knight f6. Immediately, he doesn't need to worry about d4. Okay, d4, knight f6. What is the price of bishop d6? The price in development. At some point, black would wish he can put the bishop anywhere but on d6. He's making effort to move it to f8, making effort to move it whatever he can, because how to develop the bishop from c8, how to make the d pawn move is really not easy. There is also bishop c5 that first doesn't make much sense, but it can actually transpose and does transpose to some positions after d4, bishop b6, or castle, bishop b6, d4. We will see a game of Anand with the black pieces playing this. So, by the way, this position with bishop c5 can also transpose from bishop a5, b6. I decided to put it in the bishop c5 chapter, but it is a logical way of thinking and looking. So really, those are the main moves that we have. My feeling is that the one that is most still not explode enough, not clear enough, is the bishop d6 territory. Bishop a5 and bishop e7, I believe, had already been well analyzed. To say that white gets advantage here would be a bit wrong, because if white gets advantage here, then why are they all playing those super heavy, difficult, complicated Ray Lopez? Well, there is really no advantage, right? We are playing against Anand, we are playing against best players in the world, this line. So what, will they get worse? No. But what we should aim, what is white's main goal? To get the game as complicated, as messy, like a gambit. And I believe in this sense, against most of the players that are not perfectly prepared, the Evans Gambit offers excellent possibilities to get that. With this, let's go and start looking at some chess moves.